Groovy. We're going to start, we're basically going to do the official version of what Clara's doing. We're going to start in yin fish. So you bring the bottoms of your feet together. You have your heels about 2 hands length away. It's the space from where you fold to your head, basically. And then you come back onto your elbows and let your head drop. If that's too much for your neck, you can always lift up your head and bring your chin to your chest. But allow these first couple of breaths to get you completely here on your mat, in your body, in this present moment. So feel your physical body. Your bones, your muscles, tissues, your solid and fluids. Take some moments to feel your energy. Whether you use the language of Taoism and call it Qi, or Ayurveda and you call it prana, or if you're like into the traditional Latin anime, you still have to kind of figure out what that feels like for you. And then ease your elbows out to the side and allow your upper body to lie down onto the mat, keeping your feet as they are, and bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And just take a couple moments to feel into how your emotions are this morning. You're feeling life. Maybe you woke up with emotions left over from your dream. Zzz. And then take a couple moments to notice how your thinking is. And not so much what you've been thinking about, but how you've been thinking about it. Thank you. Then help yourself up onto your elbows, keeping your feet as they are. You're going to go straight into a forward bend. So let your head relax down towards your feet. Find a couple moments of pulls and wiggles to get into the posture correctly. And then see how much you can soften and surrender. Letting your jaw relax, your tongue get heavy. You might even imagine your skin dropping towards the floor off of your bones. And take a couple moments to be aware of the witness standpoint that you can look at your own thinking from. And from that same kind of long view, timeless perspective that the witness can hold in us, notice if you can remember your personal highest intention. To imagine that everyone gets kind of a mission when they incarnate onto the earth, a job to do that is bigger than the reach of just your personality. And sometimes in the day-to-day, in the little things, in the minutia of our mundane life, our everyday life, we can forget that we knew something. Maybe when we were 3 or 5, or maybe it's become clear with work that you've done as an older person, older than 5. But when we can remember or reform our clear high intentions, it allows some of the little things to truly be little. It liberates our attention up from the minuscule details of the likes and dislikes of daily life. And with your next inhale, roll up. And let's just start in a seated Om today. So bring your legs into either easy pose, half lotus, full lotus. Whichever one of those gives you the most freedom and lightness in your spine and lift in your skull. Feel the ground below you. Bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes. It's okay if it sounds weird, but allow yourself to be heard. Empty your breath. Let's take a deep inhale together. And open your eyes, maybe a hint of a smile to start for a joyful practice. Bring your hands forward, get your legs back there, downward facing dog. Now move around a little bit. Don't need to be so static, so wiggle your knees, your toes, your elbows, your face a little bit. We want to practice in a dynamic way. So we're going to employ the opposite forces or resistance as useful tools, and the opposite forces as a way to light us up. So take a full inhale and just sigh out your breath with your exhale. Feel your fingers spread out. Hasta Bandha. This is your hand locks. You want to push down with the first knuckle of your thumb and your index finger in the soft spot in between. Beautiful. You might even then feel a lightness in the middle of your palm, and eventually can slightly grip with the very tips of your fingers. Then look back at your feet. Your dristi can land either right in between your toes or looking up towards your belly button. And if you see your toes turning a freakier, lighter shade of you, you can lift up your toes and stretch your toes out, very much like how you did with your hands. Beautiful. Feel that your heels are dropping to the ground. If your heels are already on the ground, be bold and make your downward facing dog bigger. So Clara, maybe step your feet further back so it's not so stable. Fantastic. You can slide your heels out so they're invisible, and then eventually you even work on lifting up the skin in the front of your leg. Take a full inhale. Empty your breath, look forward, and as you breathe in, walk your feet in between your hands. Lifting up halfway. Exhale, release, and roll down. Push down with your feet, rise up tall. Feel your feet planting in the ground as your fingertips lift for the ceiling. And exhale, samasti tihi. It's a little reminder to smile. Relax your hands at the end of your breath. Inhale, stretch your arms up tall. Exhale, bow forward, softening your knees as much as you need to. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, and then step back to plank. Let's take some breaths here in plank. So you're stretching your body long. You'll notice that's one of the ways to step into the dynamics of your practice. Instead of trying to hold things and be static, think about expanding and stretching between two poles, so to say. So here your heels are reaching back, your chest is reaching forward, and all your muscles in between are helping, because it's like a teamwork on the muscle front. Look forward, shift your whole body forward, like to your tippy toes, and slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, flip your toes over, plant your toenails on the ground, lift up, low cobra. So the tops of your feet are pushing down. Notice if you can maybe float your hands for a second, that your legs are doing the work. So if you push down with your legs, the lightness for your chest to lift up is there. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And inhale, straight away, come right back into plank. Fantastic. Maybe a hint of a smile. Look forward, shift to your tippy toes, and this time drop your knees, chest, and chin. And so your butt's going awkwardly up high in the sky. Beautiful. Ashtanga Namaskar. Then inhale, low cobra, same. Toenails push down into your mat, even your pinky toes. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale, one more time, come straight into plank. Yes. Shift your body forward to your tippy toes, lower halfway down, chaturanga, trying to look as far forward as possible. Lift your shoulders up the same height as your elbows. And then inhale, upward facing dog, your thighs floating, shoulders behind your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Fantastic. So you want to feel that vinyasa option for you, whether it's the first, second, or third one, is right in between what's challenging and what feels good. You can always throw an extra chaturanga before downward facing dog too, if you want a little extra spice. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Float your feet forward. On your next inhale, and lift up halfway. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet and rise up tall. And then exhale, Samasti Tihi. Inhale, stretch your arms up high. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog. Point your big toes back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel your inhale, fuel your body to lift away from the mat. Feel your exhale, allow you to remember to surrender to the mat. Feel your belly lifting towards your spine. You're engaging your Uddiyana Bandha. Feel your root lock. Empty your breath. Look forward. With your next inhale, hop or walk your feet in between your hands and lift up halfway. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet. Rise up tall. Exhale, Samasti Tihi. Then bend your knees deeply. Drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat, strong back. And exhale, Chaturanga or Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, tucking your tail. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb and lift up, warrior one. Your back heel spins down. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, feel the stretch in the front of your body. Your heart lifts up, your toes point down. Exhale. Step your left foot to your left thumb and rise up with your inhale all the way to warrior one. Your back heel spins to the ground. Exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel your downward facing dog is maybe a little bit of a stretch. One of my teachers, Baron Baptiste, he talked about how if your heels are on the ground in downward facing dog, like you're really stable. Now imagine if like someone set you up on a blind date and they're like, yeah, the person you're set up with is they're really stable. Like that's not the go-to, like there's no butterflies, no excitement. So be a little playful with your downward facing dog. Let it be growing and shrinking and not just the same spot every time you practice. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Walk or float your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, belly lifts. Exhale, release and bow down. Feel your Uddiyana lift up. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasti Tihi. Inhale, Utkatasana. Let's take some extra breaths here. So find the weight in your heels. You actually want to be able to peek down and see your toes in front of your knees. If not, just move your knees back. Feel that you want to pull your root lock up and in. And maybe even separate your arms and you can pull them a little bit more towards your ears, lest your shoulders soften. So internationally, people really loathe this pose. So like a revolutionary act is to enjoy it. So enjoy the burn. Sink your hips down lower. Enjoy the effort. Notice that makes you stronger and feel more liberated. Take another full inhale. And with your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky, and with your exhale, bring your knee to your nose, your belly lifts up like you're sniffing your knee. Then inhale, stretch your right leg again, and you're going to do the same motion with your exhale. You're going to pull your knee forward and then place your foot next to your thumb. Rise up, warrior one, with your inhale. Let's take some breaths here again. So imagine you're stretching your mat organically longer. Now, if you're very flexible, your yoga practice is going to ask you to be strong. If you're very strong, or even, mittemelon, strong, your yoga practice is going to ask you to be flexible. So engage your locks. Come to your full expression, liberating the energy from both your elbows. Even your fingers are animated. Take another full warrior inhale. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Feel your big toes stretching straight back, not towards one another. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, that'll make a big difference. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. And then with your exhale, bring your left knee to your nose like it's a bouquet of flowers. Lift your belly. Beautiful. Sniff it. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, bring your knee forward, carrying it, lifting it high, and then placing your foot heel to toe next to your thumb. Rise up, warrior one. So if you're tight in the hips, you can step your feet further apart like you're stepping on train tracks or something. Very narrow train tracks, like toy train tracks. How can you express more fully in this pose? And it's like light warrior, like it's a joyful warrior practice. To quote Abraham Lincoln, don't you slay your enemies when you make them your friends? What kind of warrior are you going to be? Fill up with your inhale. Gift from the world. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Feel your chest fill, the back of your lungs fill. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find yourself coming to a peaceful place in your downward facing dog. Peaceful doesn't mean it's like boring or dead, but where the oppositions are in harmony, in complementary positions to one another. For instance, the reach down of your hands helps you actually be able to pull your arms up away from the mat and your shoulders down towards your ribs. Take another full inhale, fueling up. Pull your hips up and back. Empty your breath. Look forward. You got it, pair. And then float, hop, or walk your feet in between your hands, lifting up to halfway. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees deeply. Drop your booty. Inhale, Utkatasana. Ooh, and exhale, Samasti Tihi. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, open arm twist to your right. Staying lifted in your chest. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Ooh. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, take your right knee to your left elbow. Lift it high. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Enjoy a little push-up or running man. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Keep your left heel lifted this time and rise up, crescent lunge. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale here. I said inhale here. And then with a little drama, exhale to warrior two. So just for a moment, take your gaze to the Neely Dreamcatcher here. It needs stones to catch dreams. And you want to feel your head and your heart and your hips all lined up in on one axis. Yep, exactly, good question. It's a standing hip opener. It's an active hip opener. Fantastic. So it's powerful, it's engaged, but it's also releasing. So the hard part is opening up your left ribs and your left hip. Then feel the alignment in the center of the posture, and then keeping that alignment, turn your gaze over your middle finger on your right hand, and you basically look towards the horizon. You look through walls, you look as far away as you can. Let your shoulders soften. Notice if your butt's sticking out, or your ribs. Take another full inhale, and exhale, chaturanga. Ooh, nice. Inhale, upward facing dog. Enjoy it. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, take your left knee to touch your right elbow. Feel it, or if that's easy, take it to your armpit. Inhale, stretch your left leg. Exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Back heel stays lifted. Rise up, crescent lunge, and open arm twist to your left. So even in the twist, still feel your right thigh pulling towards your right hamstring. You want to have your back heel so it's actually quite high and right over your toes, and you push with your whole foot back. Take another full inhale here, and then windmill, open up, warrior two. So bravely going to the full alignment, keeping your left knee over your left ankle. This allows your muscles to really help you, but also that the bone of your leg helps you. Find the inner rotation of your left thigh going up to the sky, and then opening up your right hip and ribs. Reaching with all of your fingertips, like you have the go-go gadget nails. Gaze over your middle finger through the walls. Lunge a little bit more. Inhale here. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And walk your hands back to your feet. And hook onto your big toes with your peace fingers and your thumbs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. So the dynamic elements of this posture is you're pushing down with your feet and lifting up with your belly and pulling with your arms as your head relaxes. Your weight rolls towards your toe tips. Now inhale, halfway lift, and just take your whole hands underneath your foot now. And then exhale, bow forward again. Again, the weight is rolling towards your wrists. If some little house elf would come and tap you on the butt, you'd totally fall forward. But it's a studio here, so we don't have a house elf. Let your head hang. And then step off your hands. Toe heel your feet together. Walk yourself out to a plank. And roll first to the outside. Put your feet together. and roll to the outside edge of your left foot and raise your right arm up to the sky. Side plank. So maybe you need a training wheel kind of thing. You can put your top foot slightly in front. If you need more support, you can drop your bottom knee down. But the alignment is just like when we're standing or in plank. So push your shoulder blades down towards your spine, towards your hips. And now maybe just lift up your right leg. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to plank. You're welcome. Some things are easier to say than do, huh? Either way, find your way coming to plank. Step your feet together. And this time roll to the outside edge of your right foot, either dropping your right knee or putting your left foot slightly in front. So feel the alignment just like when you're standing. Notice if your hips are too high or too low. And then see if you can play and lift up your left leg. Notice if all of a sudden when you're playing, you've got this like uber serious look on your face. Oh yeah, seriously playing. Okay, wonderful. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a couple moments to feel the heat in your body. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Walk or float your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Then bend your knees, drop your booty, and inhale to goddess pose. Oh yeah, you thought I was going Utkatasana, but really drop your booty. And lift up your heart. Let your shoulders come down your back. Feel your elbows helping your knees move out. If your heels don't touch the ground, you can take your legs further apart. If it's easy for you, bring your feet closer together. Now you're going to stay low here. Reach your arms forward like you're like trying to hug the person in front of you, but your feet won't move. Oh. And then notice which one is your right arm. And with your exhale, sweep your right arm back around your knee and then reach back with your left arm and see if you can hold hands and lift your chest up towards, that would be your left-hand side. Beautiful. Come back to center. Interlace your fingers. Stretch up to the ceiling, a little bit of a back bend, and exhale. Goddess pose. And we know that there's at least, there's a multitude of goddesses. We don't have this problem of just thinking there's one. So there's the maiden, the mother, and the crone in the typical archetype of goddess. Stretch your arms forward. And then sweep your left arm, wrap it around. Reach back behind you with your right arm. See if you can hold hands. If your hands don't reach, you can use a strap or just hold onto your t-shirt. And joyfully spin your heart open, looking up to your right top corner. Trying to not let your knee collapse in. Yeah, baby. Nice. And exhale, come back to center. And this time you're going to try and wiggle your shoulders underneath your hips. It might not happen. And then you're going to reach up and see if you can grab your own butt. I know, it's exciting. So you wiggle, 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 and then reach up. And try to lengthen your legs. Fantastic. Wonderful. You guys are naturals. Eventually you can do an arm bind behind your back then. Okay. Goddess pose. And now we're going to try for Titi Basana. So it's not only fun to say, but the cool thing is if you fall out of this pose, you're really close to the ground. So play with it a little bit. You try to bring your hands behind you and then see if you can maybe lift up your legs. You want to keep your butt lifted? Because if not, you come down to the ground. Ooh, wonderful. Now, pretending we're having a little shout out to some island dancing. Softly dance yourself down to the ground. And slide your heels close to your buttocks, getting ready for bridge. So spin your toes in slightly, heels out, and inhale, lift up your hips. And then exhale, just roll them back down. We're going to do 2 before we hold it. And then inhale, lift up your hips. Maybe a little higher. And then exhale, roll back down. And then this time, inhale, lift up your hips, feeling that your feet are helping you. Shimmy your arms underneath, your shoulder blades underneath, hold hands. And now just tap into the dynamics of this pose. You want to feel that your knees are moving away from your face. Your heart's moving towards your face. Feel that when you push your knuckles down to the ground, you can actually lift your hips up higher. And feel that when you rotate your inner thighs down towards the ground, you can lift your hips higher still. Stay active in the pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Let your knees fall together. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, sigh out. And then we're going to go to another back bend. So if you feel warm enough to come up into full wheel, you can bring your hands next to your ears. You still want your toes pointing in slightly so it's a little pigeon-toed. First, inhale, come up to the crown of your head, just the top of your head. Then squeeze your elbows together and pull your shoulders to your butt, and then lift up. Beautiful. Spin your toes in a little bit more, Clara. Now, if you want a little bit more juiciness with your exhale, touch your forehead to the ground with your inhale, lift up. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. And then bring your chin to your chest and slowly come down. Let your knees fall together. Take a big full inhale. With your exhale, just sigh it out. And inhale, lift up your hips. I mean, if you ever see skeletons, you see our pelvis. It nearly looks like a butterfly that should just be able to fly up. That's right. Come to the edge. Maybe bring your hands up next to your ears. Push up to the ceiling. Find the inner thighs spinning. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your knees fall open in Supta Baddha Konasana. And take your index finger and your thumbs to touch and spreading out the other fingers into triple diamond mudra. Let your thumb slide to where your head and the ground meet. And your index fingers, ring finger, and pinky fingers are stretching away from one another. So in the dynamic, formative forces of the world, we have the basic guanas, and this is the force that is about solidifying, becoming more solid, becoming denser, more earthbound, is one of the forces. Tapas. And then we have another force that is about the lightening up, the effervescence, the lifting away, which are the rajas in the Vedic terminology. And then when these two are in balance, it allows space for the satyas, which are, you can hear it, at the root of the Sanskrit word is sat, which is the truth. And that's available when the rajas and the tapas are balanced, and then we have this kind of nearly celestial force, this force that connects us to life and the divine and joy and bliss. And then hug your knees to your chest. And maybe lift up your face and kiss your knees. Thank you for all the wonderful work they've done for how many years you've been alive. And then you're going to wrap your right knee around, your right leg around your left leg. So coming into a twisted root here. Yeah. And now take your left foot and put your foot on the ground. Lift up your butt and slide your hips to the right first, and then let your knees drop to the left. And your gaze turns back around to the right. You want to make sure your knees are as high as your hips so that the twist goes into your spine. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, just sigh out. One of the ancient truths is that the human body transforms things. Ancient, I guess it would be timeless, really. That whatever we bring into our body leaves our body transformed. And more than just, the digestion and leaving fertilizer. Our breath changes. But even ideas, dreams. But that there's even more than we can imagine that the human being actually transforms in our physical body. So that substances are different when they're outside of the body than when they're inside the body. Come back to center. Unwind your legs and switch them. Slide your hips to the center. Yeah. Put your right foot on the ground, lift up your hips, slide your hips over to the left, let your knees drop to the right. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, just sigh out your breath. One of the easy to or not easy to understand, but one of the areas that a lot of studies coming out right now is about water. Now, actually, in the human body, water is in a fourth state. It's totally timely that we're starting to learn some of these mysteries about the human being, about the physical world now. In this age that we're entering, we have access to mysteries that before you had to be in a certain tribe or sect or bloodline to learn. But now they're becoming more and more available to all free human beings. Unwind your legs, come back to center. Let's set up for Shavasana. So palms open to receive. Maybe you want to slide back, start on your mat. Feel free to cover yourself with a blanket. If you have a hard time keeping your eyes closed, you can always cover them with a pillow or a scarf. Mm-hmm. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Feel your attention ride on your breath. Wiggle around your fingers, your toes, maybe your face and your nose. And then roll on to your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest. Take a moment to feel your specific, special, wonderful vitality and life force. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to meet at heart center. Remember maybe the intention that you were thinking about at the beginning of class. Your mission on earth. Empty your breath. Take a big inhale and join me in one final Om. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. And a little bit of noise. Woo! Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And go use those life forces for good, not evil. Go out there and be awesome. Thank you.